Chapter 6. 238,000 miles away, the sun didn't just shine on the lunar surface, it assaulted it. On the terminator line of the Delporte crater, the contrast between the violent, blinding white light of the solar glare and the absolute devouring pitch black of the shadows was sharp enough to slice her optic nerve. In the vacuum of space, there was no atmosphere to soften the blow, no breeze to scatter the radiation. There was only the dead, freezing dust, the jagged silicate rocks, and a silence so profound it felt like a physical weight pressing against the bedrock of the universe. And there, resting half buried in the pumice and shadows, lay the Atlas-class artifact. It had sat there for 1 billion years. 1 billion years of meteorite strikes that plinked against its obsidian hull like grains of sand against a battleship. 1 billion years of coronal mass ejections and slow, grinding turn of the cosmos. It had been asleep so deep and cold it made death look like an afternoon nap. But it wasn't dead. It was just waiting. Deep within the cavernous, petrified bone architecture of its primary navigation sanctum, a spark caught. It wasn't a mechanical ignition, and certainly wasn't the crude, burning combustion of human engineering. It was a waking thought. From the heart of an ancient, impossibly complex, crystal lattice, a structure that looked more grown than manufactured, a steady, rhythmic glow began to bleed into the total darkness. It started as a faint, bruised purple, pulsing slowly, silently, thrum, 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 like the heartbeat of a leviathan rising from the abyssal zone. The light shifted, spiking like a digital fever. It cascaded through the crystalline veins, turning a vibrant, electric indigo, then shifting into a piercing, violet blue that illuminated the dust motes of 1 billion years floating in the zero-gravity stillness. The machine was casting a line across the black ocean of space. It was the source of the itch in Arthur Steneston's brain, the psychic beacon that punched through the atmospheric interference of Earth and bypassed the electromagnetic jammers of Area 51. The signal was a harpoon, and the line was pulled taut. Now, the intelligence within the lattice was waiting for an answer. At the very edge of the crystal matrix, where the violet light flared brightest against the dark, the energy began to coalesce. It folded in on itself, bending the ambient light, weaving a three-dimensional construct out of thin air and ancient data. The lattice extruded a shape. It formed a head, shoulders, the collar of a cheap poly-blend button-down shirt, and the lapels of a pristine white lab coat. There, glowing in ghostly, indigo blue relief against the terrifying backdrop of the ancient alien bridge, was a perfectly rendered, slowly rotating holographic bust of Arthur Steneston. The effigy looked just as Arthur did at that exact moment, terrified, wide-eyed, and shivering. The universe-controlling superintelligence that slumbered within the ship had set its own honeypot. It knew exactly who was standing at the threshold of the sport model in the freezing dark of Nevada. It knew the primate was coming, and the ancient AI was leaving the porch light on.